with Intention, podcast where we bring you stories from around the globe. Hello, and welcome back to another wonderful episode on Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention. I have amazing guests with me today, Veronique Gautier with me. Hello, dear, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you, Eva, for having me.
You're very welcome. So glad you're here. Before we jump into the usual questions I have, please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and things like that, please.
Happy to share with you that I'm French and I've been living in New York in the US for 27 years now.
Wow, that's
Right.
amazing.
It's been
Um,
quite a while. Yeah,
yeah. How's the weather there right now?
it's getting cooler. I'm preparing for hibernation.
Oh no. Yeah, it's getting cool here too in Edmonton, Alberta, but it is to expect it. Change of season slowly, hopefully not too fast.
Exactly, that's my wish.
Yeah. So let's jump right into it. Veronique, you've had a remarkable career influencing some of the world's most influential companies. What drew you into the world of transformation in the first place? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so you're right. I love that you're starting right away with transformation because this is really what motivates me. Like across everything I do and everything I am, I like to see things transforming for the better. So when I was first a strategist, first for some of the largest corporations, I was interested in transformation that create value. And by value, I don't mean money, or not money only. Of course, when you work for the largest corporation, they're expecting return on investment of all the thinking and transformation. But really, the idea is how do we make this thing more meaningful? How do we make things better for all the stakeholders? So now that I shifted in the world of mentoring and coaching, I'm interested in transformation, helping people transform, and how do we achieve this transformation as meaningfully, as authentically as possible. So to answer your question, yeah, let's make things better. That's the way I like it.
Exactly, and I love that too. I believe about the transformation, even though I had my periods of low in life too, but that's another story. So this is what I want to know a little bit more. So you describe experiencing full life burned out. What became the turning point of your own transformation? Like, what was it? Can you take us into that season of your life, maybe? And what ultimately sparked your rebirth?
Yeah, so you are going straight there. I think uh, women and especially high achieving women, uh, we are we are used to operate at the edge of our limit, right? We give it all, and not only career-wise, but we try to juggle all the roles. So I remember I was able to really, focus on my career up until I was 35, 36. I had my child. So I had a career. I have a very solid career already, and I loved it. I'm part of this probably few people who enjoyed corporate. I had a really good run there. Um, but then when I had my child, I realized, I can't give it all like 1% everywhere or 500% everywhere rather. And I felt like for the first time I was failing and I was failing at everything. And then, you go through life and you work hard and harder and you make things work and for the benefit of it looks like everybody else but you. This is what I learned. Being selfless to a fault, right? And on the other side of my divorce, um, I didn't realize how depleted I was. Like physically, my vitality was gone, and it was really my trademark was um, the level of vitality, the level of energy that I had to put in life, to put in my personal life, in my business life. And I was running really low, but I kept pushing. I kept pushing through it. Then COVID happened. That was a hard time for everybody, but at that time, all the stresses hit me at the same time. A child. that I had put first for such a long time. I just left to college, and I felt like my life, nothing was fitting in my life anymore. I felt like I was beside me, like literally almost. And it took like just one really hard moment to push me to the surrendering point. And it
Mm-hmm.
was just the night before a very important presentation. And for a very long time, I had not felt that level of passion about a project. It's an innovation actually that I'm developing, and that's being funded right now. So it's also very exciting. Um, and it's just the night before, and 3 o'clock in the morning, I can't sleep. And you toss and you turn, and you're like, okay, breathing and everything, and nothing works. And eventually, I got up and I went straight to my knees. I went on my knees. And it's not something I typically do, but I don't know. I felt that, okay, I'm on my knees, like literally and figuratively now. And I was I was sick. I could barely hold a pencil. I had prepared my child. I had written my will. I was not in a good place, right? So not sleeping and having this big presentation on my shoulders, it was just too much. And I closed my eyes. I was on my knees in this pitch dark room, I remember vividly. And I heard this voice, Veronique, where have you been? Where have you been all these years?
Wow.
And it really hit me because it went straight to my heart. And I realized it's true. I have disappeared of my own life. I have totally abandoned myself. And for all the good reasons. I wanted to be a good mom. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to collaborate with my husband on so many beautiful, innovative projects. But I lost sight of myself. And I was on my knees because I had forgotten to be me and what was giving me life. At the time, I didn't understand it. I didn't really know it, but it felt true. It went through me. And when I opened my eyes, I saw this ray of light, and this ray of light caught my eye because it was dark in this room, and I was the only light. And I remember it connected with me, and it gave me like a jolt of energy. And it was like a reboot and invitation for a reset. It was like, I have no idea. I have no idea how it's going to look like. I didn't have a mentor at the time, but I committed. I said, this is not the way it's going to end. This is not the way it's going to end. It's the beginning of something that I don't know yet what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the moment where I went off and started realizing that I needed help. The advisor needed help,
Mm-hmm.
uh, guidance at least. And I realized I need to learn how to do things differently because what was clear to me at that point was that the way that I had been leading my life up until then led me there. And I needed to hear an information um, for things to click and kind of like bring me back to life, like literally. So eventually, yeah, I found this mentor. Took me a moment because I didn't want to be coached by a man. I didn't want more masculine energy that I had fully in me, like being this warrior and consulting in Manhattan. It was not cocooning. Um, but I had pushed myself so far with this identity. So yeah, so that was the moment when I realized, okay, I made a decision which was clear. It's not the way it ends.
Yeah.
It's the
Wow. Well, first of all, you gave me goosebumps listening to it. Then my eyes almost teared up. Actually, they did. Just listening to it and being so authentic in your story and just sharing it. This is exactly what I want people to hear, to know that we all go through these things, even we don't talk about it sometimes. And some people do because this is how we help one another, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. Um, so
sure.
inspiring. Thank you. So here we are, now you're thriving. So I want to jump into your work now. So it bridges life mastery and business mastery. Why do you believe both are essential for true transformation then?
Yeah, because I believe that each of us is born unique. And we kind of all know that. Yeah, 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 Veronique, it's nothing new. But I think we're not fully grasping the significance of it. Like we have a unique DNA. It's by nature, but it's also by design. And it's the key to your unique design, meaning you have to express who you're designed to be. And that's my work right now. I talk about moving from full life burnout to full-fledged vitality because I discovered, which something I intellectually knew already, that true transformation starts within and starts with who you perceive you are. So for me, the work is deep down.
Mm-hmm.
There's no skipping the line. You have to like start within, and the first step is, who do I perceive that I am? Because this is the only limitation that you have, is the is not the way you're being perceived, is how you perceive yourself, right? So I start with that, and I mimic my own transformation, because it's one thing to know what works, but it's another thing to come from having experienced it. So I know that, it's not one more course, it's not one more thing that you're missing, is the what I call the updating of your identity. Because I know that I was a prisoner of my former identity. I know that I was a warrior and it was close to not end well, like across everything in my life, including my health. So and you know, most of us, we've had a successful career. Um, and why change something that looks like it's working, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we have evolved. Everything around us has evolved. Our kids have left the station. They're, on a life of their own. So uh, it's a gift, and it's the gift that we absolutely have to give to ourselves, is the gift of the update of your identity. So the first question is, who am I now? And it's not philosophical. It's very concrete and actionable, because that's going to be the update of who you are and you perceive yourself to be, is the prism through which you're going to create. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the minute that you start, like, adjusting to, things that are obsolete, or things that have been inaccurate altogether, like, perception that people have put on you, that you've lived, that you've made your own. We all know that, right? We're all the product of some level of conditioning. It's just like we are more aware or not. And it's been such a long time that all these things we've made true and real, right? So it starts with identity. And then, just like with your car, when you want to go somewhere, you need 2 points of coordinate. You need to know where you are and you need to go where you're going. So just like in business, in personal life, it's like, what do I want now? It's the vision. I need to have a clear, not the path doesn't need to be clear, but the direction needs to be clear. This is what I want now. And even when we work together, I go like, what would you love now? Because now you need to have the fire. You want the passion. This is what's gonna pull you out of your current circumstances and situation and condition. For some of us who were sick, who are from this point, this starting point where life has started to crumble already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you need to know who you are. You need to know, what's the vision, what is pulling me, what is that I would love now, right? And the beauty that I am now certified to do is coach people through the dream building. So the dream building is a combination of everything I had studied before, but now I understand it and I can teach it. It's um, it's a product of neuroscience, quantum physics, psychology, and these are big fields. And my role in life is not to be a scientist, but to understand and create a convergence of all this knowledge about transformation, science of transformation, to create things that work. Because I'm very pragmatic, I'm into transformation, I'm into results, right? So the beauty of this dream builder is that you transform through your future identity. So you reinstall, you use your brain to install a future memory. You use your brain to override the current programming and the current perception of who you are. And that's how you, it's a game, of updating and upgrading and updating and upgrading until you become a match to the person actually who's leading this life in the vision that you have for yourself. So the minute that you envision something for yourself, it means a part of you is already there. A part of you is already resonating and vibrating at that level of consciousness, right? So it's possible. And then so through the work, we wire and fire and wire, we override the current basically programming. And then through that system, through that process, what becomes super clear and that is so valuable is we discover what I call our vocation, meaning who is it that I'm designed to be? What is it that I'm designed to do? Okay, that's my vocation. What's my role and contribution to the world, right? Um, so yeah, so we're unique to design our own design, to bring our own design to life. So once you know who you're designed to be and what you're designed to do, you know how do you build it? And that's the last part, that's the business part. So that's why um, I believe in everybody's unique, everybody has a unique design, and our responsibility is uh, to express that design and create the vehicle of our unique contribution in the world. And I'm talking about contribution because I would love everybody to really understand what this is about. This is about becoming the person that you need to be to give yourself life, but everybody else needs you to be that person because nobody else knows and have the experience and have the gifts that you have. So when you understand that, we stop competing against each other and we start like thinking about, okay, what's my contribution? What's my role in this? And it doesn't have to be, I'm changing planet Earth. It's just fitting, clicking in. And what I know to be true through my own experience and the women that I coach is through that system, you are unkinking the hose. You're giving yourself life. You're allowing life to circulate through you. And it's really magical, like from your own health and vitality through this women find their space in the world. And since it becomes so clear, they're on a mission to build it, right? So this is what this is where my passion is.
Mm-hmm. And it's so true. Like, I've never really studied neurosciences or psychology as much as I do now. And it's funny because if you gave me some book on neuroscience like maybe 10 years ago, I would have looked at them like, I don't get it. Now I look at and I understand everything I'm reading, which is so nice, like Dr. Joe Dispenza stuff, for example, and other books, of course. And it's so fascinating. And we can never learn everything that's given to us, but if we even try and learn a little bit, it gets us so much farther in life. It gives us so many more opportunities, and not just that, so much more. So I believe knowledge is power, but then you have to use it correctly and use it to advantage and grow and expand and there share the light with so many others. Because, for a long time too, I was just like everybody, like a sheep. Yeah, I mean, I had my moments where I did other things. But for the most part, I was just like, oh, is this it? Is this what life is? But then deep down, something inside of me always knew there was more to what I was led to believe. And it's not because it's my parents' fault or somebody's fault. It's just that's how it was shaped. But then I knew something inside me always said, reach out for more. There's more out there. So, I got guidance, and, I was on my knees too at some point in life when I had to surrender. I was like, God, please help me. I need help. And when
Yeah.
we ask, we get that, but we also have to have that, listen, clarity, and, so it's such a
Yeah.
beautiful process, the way you explain it. It's exactly how we should be. But yeah, you'll have different people. Some people get born into luxury lifestyle, and then that's all they know, and uh they're born rich, they die rich, and that's how their life was. But then there's other people who may be born into something, uh being poor. That's all they know. They think that's all there is, and they'll die that way. And then there's the people, I believe, in between that. Yes, I was born into this circumstance, but I know I have the power to change it. And as much as sometimes it's like, oh, but it seems hard, it's not. We just have to be open to all the possibilities and all the tools we have out there now. So I want to hear something from your 30 plus years of work. What was the most profound transformation you have witnessed in a client?
Oh, I see it every day. I see it every day. Actually, I'm going to host an event soon on September 17th with the Leadership Global. And I'm going to have one of my clients show up because if I tell the story, people are going to be, Veronique, you're embellishing. But really, like, to see the transformation in another human being is so humbling. And like she'll describe, she was seriously sick, and everything around her was like, it was looking like everything was crumbling, like similarly but also differently to me, right? Of course. um I'm saying of course because we end up attracting the same type of people, right? So and then today she has a big mission, and not only she has a big mission, but she has become the person who can build it. And we're building it actually now together, in the next step, the mastermind. And so I see it, but what I want to say, I think my point is not, um, I think I'm inviting women, especially of your mature women, to redefine what success is and is about. And again, for me, it's experiencing full-fledged vitality. I want to, like, I don't know if you feel my energy. I'm like, I have energy, and I'm vital, and I love what I'm doing, and I allow myself to be all I am all the time. Like I'm developing an innovation. I am that person. That was originally an idea I had 5 years ago, and I love the passion of getting into an idea and really redefining what's possible. This is me all across, like all around, and at any point in life, this is who I am now. Before that, I felt fragmented. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
I have to be this leader here, I have to be this, na, 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 na. And not all the facets were on at the same time. And now I've done this work of integration, of really alignment, but also reconciling. There are parts of me that needed reconciliation. Um, that's the work we do. I look, because I'm coming from the business world, um, and strategic planning. I'm always looking at how do we create value? What are the assets? And we are usually our harshest critics. So
Mm-hmm.
part of the work is like, flip everything is an asset. Everything is an asset. It's a change of perspective, right? So it's the work that is hard to do by yourself. That's why you want a mentor,
Mm-hmm.
because I help you flip, not against your will. If you're not ready, you're not. But if you want to flip your assets, experience in life, um, my father, when I was a child, my father used to tell me, your sensitivity. He was so ashamed of my sensitivity because I realized how it was a reflection of his sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
He always said, and when you think about this, it's really not easy to hear as a child. He used to say, your sensitivity is going to be your only weakness. So I went through life really considering that was a weakness, like my sensitivity was a weakness. And then I realized, no, my sensibility is a freaking asset
Mm-hmm.
through everything I do. This is why I create concepts. This is why I'm a strategist. I redefine, I transform, and I create value out of ideas that I implement. And what I'm suggesting is your DNA, your distinctive natural assets, this is my language, is actually the prism through which you redefine everything you are. That's your new point of creation. So let's update your DNA. You're here for a reason. You're designed for something amazing to bring to life. And it's all about awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And and because you can only see what you can see. You can only see what you can see. So the power of the dream builder, like working through the vision, which is, by the way, what companies do. When you create a strategy, you create a strategy and then you transform the company to become it. So what I'm saying is just like totally natural to me. It was not a big shift. What was a big haha was to realize it's the same. Marketing transformation, business transformation, and personal transformation is the same process. So actually, I started applying some of the tools, the DNA is the tool that I've been using in the business for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Large company, entrepreneurs alike, are just such a powerful tool. And then realizing this is about becoming the match for the vision. How do we transform for it? It comes naturally.
Mm-hmm.
It comes natural because now you're guided by this perception of you that we make it, we give it more room, we give it more space. The brain doesn't know the difference between real, imaginary, or virtual. So we install this future memory and then we keep recalling it. And at some point it becomes more real than your current circumstances, which are just the product of old thinking and patterns of behaving, right? This is, I want to say, the game. This is the adventure of becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And
So,
so,
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so in your program, now is your time to come alive, which is kind of perfect setup for this. 9 months to rebirth. Sounds really powerful. Now, why 9 months? And what does that journey look like for somebody who participates? Can you tell us a
Yeah.
glimpse into this, please?
Yeah. So the 9 months first, it's because it took me 9 months to
Oh,
get from
okay.
my knees and up and feel vital and be clear on my vision and be clear on my vocation. Okay, so that's why I'm giving you the blueprint. I'm now able, I've been able to consolidate the blueprint, right? So the intention is 9 months because I was attached to this idea of the rebirth because that's the way I experienced it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was dying and now I was like reborn, right? So and the way that it looks like is really a framework of transformation that I call 4 clarity question to reinvention. So it's 4 questions to reinvention. And why is it? Because I want to keep it simple. I think part of my design as a strategist is to simplify very complex things, you know, system or knowledge. And so as I described earlier, it always starts within. And that's the vocation. The first question is, who am I now? Okay. The second question, I hinted on it earlier, is what would I love? Because that's the direction and that's the fire. Okay. And then this third one is, who am I here to be? Like, who am I designed to be? Because I believe we're designed we have a unique life code, and that's our DNA, our distinctive natural assets. So it's not two people alike, right? So through that system, you discover your vocation, and now you know who you're designed to be. And then through the fire of the vision, the next question is, what are you going to do about this? What is the
Mm-hmm.
vehicle
Yeah,
of
you're
your
just gonna
unique
sit there, do
expression?
nothing. Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, nobody can. Believe me, I see it. Like they're all like, "Woo, let's do it,"
yeah.
because now it gives them life. You understand, this vitality is growing in them, and they must become now congruent with the vision that they have of their vocation and who they are. So as they're stepping into it, so the last question is, what is it that I'm here to build or to share or to create, right? So that's the business part. Or for some people who still want to stay in the business world, that's okay. What's my next contribution from that standpoint? But I really love working with entrepreneurs. It's a very simple but mostly very effective um, blueprint for transformation, for reinvention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very authentic because we start from your DNA. I'm not putting words in your mouth. It's coming from you and your perception of you that evolves. So the point of power is really within you, and you discover your unique source of value. Um, and back to what you said in the beginning, clarity is power. The minute that you're crystal clear on those four questions, people are unstoppable. Because what we are experiencing is confusion. It's agitation. So this is the opposite of this is clarity and really vision-led action taking, and decision making.
Yeah. But what I see a lot in people too, they start off strong and they're really, powered up. And then it seems like they got everything and all of a sudden it starts dying slowly. What would you suggest for that?
I am gonna repeat myself. Start from where it starts. It starts within.
Yeah.
What I see is people are just, okay, what's my next move? They're thinking action. Action, what's my next move? And I
Mm,
understand we're in action mode, but what I invite people to look into is like, okay, let's take more congruent action. And congruent, I mean congruent with who you are,
that's right.
right? And that's back to the definition of success, as I'm here to give myself life. And interestingly, and that's a ripple effect, is exactly that. I discovered that the way that you're the most powerful is when you're like strong executing your system, like your own design,
Yeah. And
right?
that should give you enough push to keep going, right?
Yeah, because that's cumulative effect. It's the momentum that's being
Yeah.
created.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I see it, I see it every day. I saw it in myself. Because it's one thing to know things intellectually, it's another thing to apply it and to know what it looks like. So I take people through their hero's journey. I invite them into an adventure. And I really believe that um, it's not easy. I'm not gonna, but it's relatively simple. It's not easy because we have to break through all our invisible boundaries. Everything that we don't even see that are limiting us. But it's invisible boundary, boom, boom, boom. We go through it. We grow. And then we grow and we catch momentum. It's like the rocket that lifts off. Like
Yeah.
it takes a moment to push through, but then
We
you
become
go.
unstoppable.
And now that you are who you are, the ripple effect around you is magical. And that's how you make a difference. You don't make a difference by executing, being like just someone behind somebody else's design. No, understand who you're designed to be and just go do it and come alive. And through that process, you will come alive.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I wanted to go and touch those bases so people understand that this is how it goes. It's all within us. We just have to reach out for it. Um, I love this. Honestly, I can go on all day, but we're getting close now. So I'll ask a couple more questions. And for listeners who could take just one truth, insight, or practice from you to start coming alive today, what would it be? What can you say? Word of advice.
So, so the key word is awareness, but what does it mean and how do we get there, right? When we are not in the work yet. Um, I think the main advice is, I would put it this way: stillness is the fastest way. Stillness is the fastest way, and take it from a person who is on overload, overworked, constantly jet lagged, a lot in the doing. Okay, and me, it took life to ground me physically, to force me to be still, to force me to feel like I was out of this life, to stop overthinking. So I was in the overdoing and I was in the overthinking. And so the invitation to stillness is, that's probably the hardest part, but that's where it begins. And when you can sit yourself still, and the way that you do it and regulate your, starting to calm down your nervous system is just simply by physically. You don't have to sit, you can be in nature, but just avoid the noise, avoid a little bit of the noise, like the agitation and distraction. Be still, physically still. I like it. And start breathing. And the way that you can slow down your nervous system very quickly is through your breath. There's a ton of breath, but this one works very quickly. I'm just going to mimic it. Okay. So you go through your nose, very gently inhale. Feel that the air, this is actually life circling through you. Just be aware of that. It gives you life. The minute you start breathing, the minute there's no air in your system, you're going to shut down. Okay, so gentle, full inhale. And then you exhale through your mouth as if you were blowing through a straw, very gently.
Mhm.
And if you can do it with me, you're going to feel it immediately. So that is allowing my nervous system to go from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic. And then I naturally switch my nervous system to a state where I feel safe. When I feel safe, the blood starts going back to my brain and I can think. And when I can think, I can create. When I can create, everything is possible.
That's
So,
right.
so this is just as simple as that. I would just say that. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just stay still, breathe, 3 breaths. You're gonna be there.
Yeah.
Just do this simple thing.
And that is so true. I love the breathing exercises. I do a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza as well. And right away it's tells my brain to slow down, just slow down. And sometimes I don't even have to, but I like it so much. It's like, okay, start breathing, slows you right down. And you remember that life flowing through you, and then you forget about the outside world and you just for 1 second you kind of like ground yourself, and I love that feeling. So I personally believe intention is really important, but Rise and Thrive Mornings with Intention, is it podcast. How important do you think is to set intention first thing in the morning?
So it's kind of designing the framework, the energetic framework for the day. So for me, it's not necessarily the intention of I have to do this, because for me, it's all about energy. So it's all about managing my energy so that I'm in a creative energy, right? So it's never about the task. I'm not a to-do list, I'm a to-move things.
Yeah.
And so I go by energy streams, because I want to go through the day being as productive as I can, but through creation, energy creation, not depletion. So I set the tone about the day, and sometimes I just have to remind myself I want to be a poised leader. So the intention is crafting whatever your intention for the day is, and you have to tap into different types of energy depending on on the day. There are days where I'm on Zoom all day. There are days where I'm talking to lawyers. There are days where I'm inventing, So, and that's why it's an adventure, because we get to tap into different um, levels of expressions, right? We get to experience life not through just one lane, but many lanes, right? Many dimensions, many different types of energy. So, so yeah, so absolutely, this is the way I start every day, and I want to say most, and I also end most days with that, like really, like intentionally be present. If your intention could just be that,
Mm-hmm.
intentionally be present, because as we know, where I put my attention is where I put my energy. So just the secret here,
Yeah.
more present, like bring yourself back. Agitation, distraction, bring yourself back. Because that's your current moment of creation. This is where your energy is. Your energy is not in the past and is not in the future. It's right here, right now. So anyway, it's just like a lot of adjustments of perception, and a lot of us know a lot of things. And I certainly knew a lot of things. I had studied all the things. What's important is not what you know, it's what you do about it, with it. It's your application, and it takes practice. This is why you want to be in a practice. This is why, when people say, oh, I'm a fast learner, I'm going to learn fast. And I'm like, no, it's a practice. You have to allow your system to adjust. And we haven't talked about it that much, but to the system, which is the larger way about how things work. And
Mm-hmm.
that everything is energy, and we're not separated. We're just one. And our challenge is to become more energy and less matter, so we can create more from the field. But
Yeah.
it's a longer discussion.
I know. I was like, we could talk all day about this. It's been absolute delight to have you on my podcast. Thank you so much, Veronique, for being here. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Again, of course, if you like to get in touch with one of us, of course, I'll post all the information in this video, and I'll share this podcast across different platforms. So thank you so much, guys, and hope to see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe and like the channel so you can get notified when new episodes come out. So thank you so much. Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you all.
You're welcome. Thank you.